All right, All the Bright Places. Let's talk about this movie. And I'm also going to be referencing the book while I'm doing this review because I've read the book and I want to kind of do a comparison. So if you are somebody who has read the book and have seen the movie, I would love to know what you thought of the movie version. Did you love it? Were you disappointed? Were you in the middle? What were you? Because I'm about to get into my honest opinion of All the Bright Places, book versus movie. So I gotta say, the book I thought was lovely. I thought it was written so beautifully, very poetic, and I really liked just the narrative. I really enjoyed the comedy, the heartbreaking moments, the beauty of it, everything. I thought Jennifer Niven did a wonderful job writing this story with these two honest characters who just had such a refreshing perspective told from both of their point of views, especially Finch, I think, in particular. And this book obviously goes into a lot of detail explaining mental health and what exactly, Finch feels, goes through. And I know in the movie they don't really go too far into detail explaining what it is that he's diagnosed with. So that was, if you've read the book, then obviously the movie you will understand fine. I'm curious as if you've only seen the movie, if you were able to grasp what was going on fully with him, because they don't really explain. And I understand that the character of Finch also just is not about labels. So in the movie, they kind of just really didn't want to label him with anything. Whereas in the book, it's not that they're labeling him, but you're also getting a clear idea of what it is that he battles with. And so when the movie didn't really showcase all of that, at least in the way I was imagining it, I was just kind of a little disappointed by it. So I will say, of course, and this happens pretty much most often, more often than not, which is the book is always going to be better than the movie. And I understand, because the book is almost 400 pages, so to translate that to film is quite difficult when you have to cram that much material in, a short amount of time. But that's usually where I think of, say, 13 Reasons Why, where that book also, 200 to 300 pages. And I thought, if they did that as a movie, how would they get every bit of information in? So what they did is they put it as a series, a 13-episode show. And I thought that was genius. And I thought the first season of 13 Reasons Why was excellent. And they did it wonderfully. However, they decided to continue that series, which I was curious to see what they would do, but I just feel like the series has not lived up to that first season at all. It just kind of got messy along the way. Had 13 Reasons Why had just been a one-off mini-series, just the 13 episodes to the point, enough to cover the entire book, it would have been great just to leave it there. Anyway, I say all that to say because I feel like All the Bright Places would have worked as like a kind of the same idea, maybe like an 8-episode mini-series, just so we have time to explore the characters enough. Because if you've read the book and have seen the movie, you would notice a lot of characters were cut out. A lot of plot points were cut out. A lot of just avenues and story ideas that they had in the book were not even talked about. And so to me, that was just something hard to, put my brain around, because I was waiting for a certain character to show up, or at least a little bit more exposition somewhere here, a little bit more explanation here. I wanted to see just what the book gave us. The book was rich in poetry, and I felt like the movie just didn't catch that. Not saying that the movie overall is bad. Here's what I'll say about the movie that I enjoyed. I love the acting. I thought the casting was fine. Probably Elle Fanning's best work. There's even a moment at the very end, and if you've seen the movie, where she's overlooking a cliff, she screams something that just really hit me, and I felt for her really hard there. I actually teared up for that scene. So I thought the casting was great. I thought the look of the movie was beautiful. I thought tonally, exactly the way I would have put it. So this is nothing necessarily on the director or on that team. I think it just came down to the script, the screenplay, and how it had to get translated, which I know Jennifer Niven had a hand in writing the screenplay as well. So they probably had a lot they had to cut down. And again, I understand that. So when you're doing a movie, you can only put in so much. But I'm being so selfish here, where I wish this could have been just like a little mini-series, given us time to really explore what was so rich about the book. And for me, it just the movie wasn't enough. There were certain moments, certain scenes I really liked, like the mini roller coaster that was in the backyard that they go to for part of the project. That's in the book, and I thought that was wonderful in the movie. I really liked the way that came together. Certain sequences, certain parts where I thought, oh, this is great, this was captured wonderfully. But I think by the end of the movie, for me, and again, because I've read the book, I already knew what to expect and I knew what was happening, even if it wasn't explained fully. I thought it was fine, but it just, if I had seen this movie without reading the book, I would have had a lot of questions, I feel like. I don't know, maybe that's just because I know what happens in the book. If you've only seen the movie, please comment below if you understood everything or if you really appreciated it, let me know. If you've read the book, and again, if you've seen the movie afterward, what did you think? Did you think it was a faithful adaptation? Did you think it was really good? Because I thought the movie was okay. I didn't think it was great. I don't think it's a movie I necessarily would recommend too much, except for like the acting and basically that. Again, tonally and the way the movie is styled, it's pretty and it's exactly how I would imagine the movie to be if it had gone more in how I envisioned it. Again, that's just me being nitpicky though. Or the same thing would be if this had been expanded over being an episodic. I would have loved the way it was put together in this movie, but, you know, spanned out for more time. Because I felt like timing was something they had to crunch and get in very quickly. But anyway, yes, so the book, like I said, is something I thought was just wonderful, and I thought just the movie didn't capture the essence of it enough. Going into a little bit more of spoiler territory, again, when you're dealing with something with mental health, I would love to have more explanation so your audience knows exactly what mental health you're battling. And for Finch, it is determined in the book that he is suffering from bipolar disorder. I don't really feel like the movie told you that that was what was happening. You see that he gets angry, and then you see he can be happy, and then he can be sad. But I don't feel like if you don't know really anything about bipolar disorder, then you wouldn't have known what he was suffering from. So I feel like the movie could have just really had dug a little bit more onto that, into that subject matter, have gone into more detail, have just expressed what it was. And then I would have been a little bit more content, because I felt like by the end of it, it just kind of came and went really quickly, and I felt we were cheated a little bit. So the pros, again, the acting, Elle Fanning, probably her best work yet. Thought the acting was great, and again, visually, tonally, exactly how I would see the movie coming together in terms of style. But the cons, just a little too much information, in my opinion, from the book was left out, that it wasn't faithful enough for me to say that they almost felt like two different things, honestly. They felt like two different projects. So sometimes that's going to happen, and I have to be able to separate it, but it's a little hard for me just because as a writer myself and seeing the beautiful detail that went into the book that got removed from the movie, it was hard to love it as a whole. So if bored, you can maybe put it on if you are interested in checking it out because you like YA or teen romance or Netflix romance movies. Again, I would say check it out because of the acting. Again, Elle Fanning, Justice Smith do a wonderful job together. But really read the book if you can, if you have a chance. And if you do watch the movie and you felt like you didn't get all the information, then go and read the book so you can get those last bits of information that maybe you felt like you didn't get. Yeah, that's my opinion on All the Bright Places. Grip the book if you can. See the movie if you'd like. It's not something I'm saying to watch right away or even at all. Unless for those certain things I said were worth recommending it for. Yeah, that's my opinion on All the Bright Places. Not a terrible film, just again, as a reader, watching it by comparison was hard for me to love it as a whole. So what did you think? Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you plan on checking it out, if you have seen it, I want to know all about it. Let's talk about it, especially if you have read the book. Let's talk about it. Thank you guys so much for checking out this review. I appreciate it as always. If you like that review, please click subscribe so you never miss one. And I look forward to doing more book and movie adaptation reviews in the future. So stay tuned, and I'll catch you next time.